Jets are a team that I know it's easy to make fun of them. It's easy to make fun of Adam Gase. This team doesn't have any talent. But I honestly think that if the New York Jets get their coaching hire right, so when they're going to move on from Adam Gase, we know that. And if they get their head coaching job right, they hire the right guy, I think this is a team that could drastically flip the script, and maybe not next year in the 2021 season, but moving forward, I think this team has a ton of potential. And I think it all starts with their general manager, Joe Douglas. Joe Douglas is a guy that kind of came, he was hired after Adam Gase. He had kind of a short off season. They had the draft last year. He's going to be able to pick his guy. And I think Joe Douglas, in his short time with the Jets, has done a marvelous job. If we look at this team, yes, they don't have a lot of talent. And they traded away Jamal Adams, who was probably their best overall player on the team last year. But Jamal Adams wasn't going to take him to a Super Bowl. As good of a safety as he is, as good of a player as he is, you can't win by having your best player as a safety, no matter how good that player is. So the fact that they were able to trade him away to the Seattle Seahawks for 2 first-round picks, I know it's going to be late first-round picks in the late 20s. I get that, but you were still able to get 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick for Jamal Adams. You got good value there. Joe Douglas has also kind of traded away some of his talent, that he had this year. He traded away Avery Williamson for a 5th-round pick. He's traded away Steve McClendon to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for, a late-round pick. In the 2021, which is our next draft, and the 2022 NFL draft, the Jets have 19 total picks, 9 in 2021 and 10 in 2022. So he's accumulating some picks. Now, as barren as the Jets roster is, I don't see the Jets using all 19 of those picks, and they shouldn't. And what I like that Joe Douglas has done is he's kind of yes, he got those picks for Jamal Adams, but he also accumulated some of those, those high day 3 picks. And if he's able to use those wisely, when he builds up the Jets team, he's going to build it up through free agency. We saw that a lot last year with the offensive line, bringing in, re-signing Alex Lewis, bringing in Van Rotten, Connor McGovern. He improved that offensive line. George Fant. I think he's going to continue to do that. But having those day 3 picks is going to allow him to maybe go after and get some veteran players. We forget last year, Calais Campbell, high-priced free agent, played extremely well for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They traded him to the Baltimore Ravens this year for a 5th-round pick. So Joe Douglas has got some of those picks in that 5th, 6th, 7th-round range. You're not going to get a whole lot of stud talent there, but maybe you can trade to a team to get a quality veteran. Maybe they're just kind of looking to dump some salary. And he's able to use some of those late-round picks to get a guy. I mean, if they were able to get Calais Campbell, that would be a win. So you think if there are any players out there. So I like what Joe Douglas is doing, kind of building up his draft capital for the future. And how he did in the 2020 draft really has me optimistic of what he can do in these upcoming drafts. He had a very good 2020 NFL draft. A lot of people, like myself included, wanted him to take a wide receiver, to give Sam Darnold some ammunition, some weapons. And he didn't do that. And instead, he went out and got Mekhi Becton. And Becton has shown that he is a stud. When he's been out there, he's been a little banged up this year, but when he's on the field, he looks like a potential elite offensive tackle in this league. And Joe Douglas comes from the Eagles, a team that wants to build up through this offensive line. So yes, you got Becton. So when they get their quarterback, Trevor Lawrence probably this year, you've got a guy that can protect him. Alex Lewis is a serviceable, quality guard. They've got pieces. They're going to continue to add pieces. He's not going to sit still with the offensive line he has, but he's got a foundational piece in Becton. And so you got Becton at pick 11. Then in the second round, they took Denzel Mims. Mims is another guy that's been banged up a little bit, finally getting back on the field, and he's shown flashes. Mims is a guy that's shown the ability to go up, and he's made plays in a short area of time. Ashton Davis was a day 2 pick as well. He's kind of filled into that strong safety role, and he's making plays. So LaMichael Pirine is showing he could be a quality running back. He's not going to be a feature running back, but he gives him some nice depth. So already in his first draft, Joe Douglas is showing that he has an eye for talent, and he's building up this franchise. Now, I mentioned earlier Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's not going to be the quarterback. He's not going to be on the Jets next year. They're going to trade him. So as I mentioned, hey, they've traded away Avery Williamson. They've traded away Steve McClellan. They're going to trade away Sam Darnold. They're not going to get a first-round pick for him. But Josh Rosen went for a late second-round pick. As much as I like Josh Rosen coming out, Sam Darnold is a better prospect, has shown more at the NFL level. So if you're going to get a late second-round pick for Josh Rosen, who didn't show anything after 1 year, a team that didn't have a whole lot of leverage to get rid of him, what is Sam Darnold going to bring? I would think he'd be able to give you still that second-round pick. So not only do you have 2 first-round picks, hey, another second, your traditional second, but they're probably going to be getting another second-round pick. So now they're having 4 picks in the first 2 rounds, and if you count, their third-round pick, it's almost like they have 3 second-round picks. So this team's going to have a lot of draft capital to kind of move around. They're the favorite to get the number 1 overall pick. So you're going to take Trevor Lawrence. And this is a great thing for the Jets because as much as you don't know about Sam Darnold, you're not going to pass up Trevor Lawrence. So you're getting a guy who's considered to be the best quarterback that come out of the draft since Andrew Luck. You get him, you've got Becton, you got Mims, who's may not be an elite number 1 receiver, but he's a guy that shows that maybe he can be a quality number 2. But now you have that second first-round pick. Can you get another receiver? Can you get another offensive lineman? This team has got some intrigue to them. Trevor Lawrence alone is a guy who can turn a franchise around. I know that's a lot to say for a guy coming into the NFL that hasn't played a single snap, but I truly believe he's on that Andrew Luck level. And so if you can kind of put some pieces around him, he can help elevate that. But this is all going to come down to who they hire as their head coach. And I truly hope that they find the right offensive mind that can help them turn this around fast. The division is up for grabs. New England is on the downside looking to rebuild. There's no hey, they're going to make a couple moves and they'll be back. They'll always be solid because of their coaching staff and they got enough talent, but they've got to fix their quarterback situation. Miami looks a lot better this year. Buffalo is playing pretty good for the most part. But I wouldn't say there's a single team out there that has grabbed this division by the throat and is taking it. And the Jets, if they make this coaching hire right, if they're able to add some pieces, they're a team in a couple years that I think could truly contend. So let's look at who could they hire. Well, obviously the couple of the top candidates are out there. Eric Bieniemy, the Chiefs offensive coordinator, Brian Daboll, the Bills offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith, the Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator. So those are your 3 big names that are out there. And while I think all of them would do a good job, there's not one guy that really to me screams hey, this is the guy that you have to have. Actually, Bieniemy's, I like him. I think he'll do well. But I think I'd like him better in Houston. I'd like him better in Atlanta. I think Bieniemy's a guy who, former running back. I know he's the offensive coordinator with the Chiefs, but for me and the Jets, I would want a guy that's a quarterback guy, a developer, and that's not Bieniemy. I think he'd do tremendous in Atlanta. I think he'd do well in Houston. I think he'd do well in Los Angeles with the Chargers. I just don't know how well of a fit he is with the Jets here. And who knows? I could be wrong. They could hire him. He could be great. I'm not saying that he's not a good coach. I think Brandon Dayball's an interesting guy. He's had a lot of success with Josh Allen this year. He's really revamped that offense to kind of fit around him. But another guy I think is a little, unproven. Arthur Smith, I like what he's doing, but he's doing it on a run-heavy team. Once again, I want a true quarterback developer. That's why the guy I think the Jets should go, and this might be a little early. This might be, is this guy, you're seriously going with him? But I think they should go after Joe Brady with the Carolina Panthers. And Brady is super young. He's only been an offensive coordinator this year with the Panthers. He was the co-offensive coordinator with LSU. Before that, he was a quality control coach with the Saints. This guy is a fast riser. And yes, is he quite ready this year? Maybe not. But are you going to pass on him and then next year he goes on to get another head coaching? He's a guy that's worked with quarterbacks. He's a guy that's schemed well. I think this is the guy that they need. You got Joe Brady. You've got Trevor Lawrence. Once again, add some weapons. Maybe they're able to kind of get another receiver at that second first-round pick. I think this is a team. If you get Joe Brady, you get Trevor Lawrence, they continue to kind of build this team the way Joe Douglas does. I think in a couple of years, we're talking about the Jets being a potential playoff caliber team.